that. All right, so let's record. And the shout outs. Okay, so we are celebrating January. And I want to acknowledge January was a difficult month, you guys, not for our team individually, as a company as a whole. This was our like Januariest January that ever has been. I mean, and I felt it too. I think I was like we were all like slowly crawling out of holiday mode and tired, and just it was hard to kind of get the wheels moving. And I think the fact that we are in a recession of sorts was very evident post holiday, right? People that spent, either they felt guilty or they literally didn't have any money to spend, and so retail across the nation was down. I mean, any of my friends that have small businesses were just lamenting. I had a friend that went out of business. Like January was what like the what sealed the deal on her closing her shop, because she was like, I this is the first time that I didn't make enough to make rent. And I've been on this slow decline. I mean, it's a flower shop, has nothing to do with Beautycounter, right? But that's the state of the world. And I don't say that to be like, oh man, we're doomed, right? I don't think we're doomed. I want people to, like, everybody to know it's not just you. If you felt like, oh, I had a crummy month or I was so far away from my goals, it is okay. It is okay. We brush that January off and we start fresh. And sometimes a fresh month feels like such a bummer to open up behind the counter and see a whole bunch of zeros, like, oh, I worked so hard and now we're blank slate. But I think that this is like a blank slate that we need. Yesterday was Greg's first day back on the job. Like the energy from people that you know me, I like live on Instagram. So I'm watching all of these leaders that I had watched for years, that were some of my first inspiration 8 years ago, or even 9 years ago. At this point, 9 years ago, I was like, or 8 years ago, I was slowly watching Michelle Shosa share, and the people that she's tagging, right? Other people that have been here for a really long time. And for the last 2 years, a lot of the OGs of Beautycounter have been really quiet. They may not have left anywhere, but they didn't have the normal passion. They were kind of helping hold their team together because it's been a tough for the world. It's been tough. People are loud and proud again. And so I'm really using that energy to like fill my cup up, to help fill others up, and just go back to the roots, right? But despite it being very slow, we still have a lot to celebrate. So first and foremost, I want to celebrate the people that are growing our mission and growing our team, because that can be a scary thing to do. And even in January, even in a tough month, even while we were buried, many people managed to do it. And so number one, Jamie Gill Carlson with 3 new teammates. Welcome and congratulations. Very exciting. Sarah Christine, 2 new teammates. What a rock star. Way to go. Jessica Boyer, Abby Tillinghast, Sarah Wheelock, Stacy Aguilar, Kelsey Karcher, Danielle Leatherby, myself, and Suzanne Yessie. Bravo, bravo, bravo. Some of these people have been here for a really long time. Some people are literally brand new in their start counting. It is never too early or too late to grow your team and to talk about this mission. And there's people that have joined me that 8 years ago would not give me the time of day when it comes to Beautycounter, right? But over the course of time, when people watch and see like, wow, she really likes this company, she's very passionate about this company, there is some magic with consistency and longevity. It just, so often people join this organization or an organization, they're loud and proud for a couple months, and then they're like, oh, it's not working, and they fizzle out. Just showing that you're still part of this organization, that in itself is a recruiting tool, because people are going to be curious, like, why is she still so excited about this? Like, what are they doing? It's going to make them look at you being involved with this organization and the organization as a whole through a different lens. So keep sharing. It's never too late to get your first recruit. Keep sharing. Okay. And now we're going to pull
about the concept of sharing, Audrey.
Yeah.
Just want to drop real quick. Go watch my stories if you haven't today. I'm trying to get a certification for basically something to add on to my Beautycounter business. And I have taken for granted how easy and how much autonomy we have in Beautycounter when we are given this opportunity to build our own business. And that is something I cannot find in this other certification that I'm looking to do. It's, like $15,000 to $25,000 and I have no autonomy and they own me. And that's not what I'm looking for. And so it's a good reminder that this is not all these opportunities are created equal.
For sure, for sure. I know as a former small business owner, the thought of like starting a business with under $1,000, it's unheard of, right? It's unheard of. And no overhead. It's kind of amazing. Okay, start counting achievers. If your name is not read, please no hard feelings. It's very hard to pull up these reports for behind the counter specifically because it has to do with your specific date of enrollment. So not everybody's on the same like timeline. But for sure, I know Jenny Frechette hit milestone 1. Way to go. Connie, I should know how to say your last name by now, but Connie R hit milestone 2, and she is on fire. Your numbers, Connie. Oh my God, it's so exciting watching you. And Sarah Christine hit milestone 3, and I want to say she hit all 3 milestones, milestone 1, 2, and 3, and then recruited 2 people. So this girl is, I mean, keep an eye on her because she's going to be on the leaderboard for a long time, I have a feeling. And then we've got PV, top PV, Jamie Gill, Dana LaMonica, Danielle Frechette, Farron McHugh, Saminthia Washington, Katie Cruz, Connie R, Christine Garza, Christy Wong, Jessica Boyer, Leanne Krapinski, Sarah Christine, Anna Whetstone, Katrina Dunn, Roseanne Bicione, Megan Rawls, Nikki, very long name, Jenny Frechette, Alyssa Hines, and Gay Grice. Way to go. Some of those names I've seen on leaderboards before, but I haven't seen you for a while, and you're making a comeback. And to make a comeback in January, oh my God, awesome. This is going to be such a good year. I think Greg's announcement coming back really motivated some people to like, all right, I'm going to come back and talk about Beautycounter. Okay, top new volume. New volume is so important, you guys. New volume is the indicator of what's coming up in your business. If our new volume, we might have a month of 0, right? There's some times where you just don't have a new person, but if you have consistent months of 0, it's going to be really hard to keep a solid client base because people move, people get off social media, things change. Okay. If you always make sure you have 250 is a great amount of like a baseline of new volume. That's approximately 2 new customers a month. You're always going to be growing a little bit. So keeping that, even though we don't get paid any different on the new volume doesn't make a difference with our rank. It is important. That's like your pipeline. Okay. So keeping that new volume trickle, not just completely ignoring it, always achieving to have a little bit of new volume is really important in the growth of your business. If you do want to grow. So top new volume, Jamie Gill, Connie R, Sarah Christine, Suzanne Yessie, Jenny Frechette, Farron McHugh, Kelly Bird, Katie Cruz, Nicole Petrosky, Stacy Aguilar, Davida Baxter, Cassie Cole, and Kendra J. Bravo. Top director PV, Melissa Brennan, Christine Santori, myself, Allison Henry, Liz Towson, Lindsay Mayharg, Tony Colwell, Sissy Reyna, Brooke Keibel, and Paige Christ. Good job, guys. Top director Envy, myself, Melissa Brennan, Michelle Levy, Christine Santori, and Andy Platt. Amazing job. And we have a whole lot of anniversary people. I'm not going to list everything out, and a whole lot of birthday people. Happy birthday, February. Okay, those are the shout outs, long-winded. And I think Melissa is up next.
All right. What are we talking about? Greg is back. Oh my God. All right. So if you've been living under a rock, Greg is back. No, I'm just kidding. So if you're new here though, this might not really mean anything to you. You might be like, that's cool, whatever. It's a CEO. I'd urge you, if I don't fall off my chair, sorry. I'd urge you to lean in to learning about Greg, why she started this mission, why she started this company. Listen to any of her talks. Audrey and I have a plethora of links that we could send you if you have never heard her speak before. She is extremely motivating. And in Hawaii was the first time that I really saw a very vulnerable side of Greg. She's a badass. She's not particularly vulnerable. And she was very nervous about coming back into the field. and being welcomed. And we have welcomed her with open arms because of who she is and because of what she means for this company. So if you do not know Greg, if you have not seen her talk, please message Audrey or myself. We'll give you tons of ways to hear from her. She is going to motivate you to do better. And one thing she said in Hawaii that really stuck with me was, I want to know on my dying day that I have done everything that I can to help the health and safety of the people that I love. And I was like, because it's true, right? Like, that's why I'm here, right? It's not to sell my friends a bottle of shampoo. And if I can offer that business opportunity to someone else, a good friend of mine, and it can make a difference in her life, and I can offer a counter time regimen to my mother, and it can make a difference in not only her skin, but her overall health and, cancer risk, all of those things matter. And that's why we're all here. So Greg being back is huge. It's motivational. I hope you guys will take the time to listen to any of that. In fact, Audrey, maybe after we could put in the team page, I think Anna Marie recorded like 15 minutes of the Greg talk from Hawaii. Maybe we could just stick that in the team page.
Christine Santori put that video in the team page, like the day.
The whole one?
So yeah, she recorded it and put it up there. So we can look for that. In case like Facebook is overwhelming, I always, when I look at the team page, I go and I sort by new post, not new activity, because that throws up comment, like somebody might have commented on something from a year ago, new post, and then you can look chronologically. So if you're using Facebook as a tool, which for our team page, that's what it is. It's not just like fun and fluff. Sort that. And so go back to, what was that, 2 weeks ago? Christine Santori's video. It was wonderful. I also was thinking as you were talking, we'll post a couple links to some of her past, like really great motivational speeches in the notes of the team. When I post this recording, we'll put it in the notes there. So if you haven't watched it, we can pull up some of those old things too.
Yeah, there's some really good ones. And we are going to get the chance to talk to Greg and hear from her one-on-one at the All Field Call on February 6th, which is, I don't know what day of the week that is. That Tuesday?
Probably Tuesday.
I think that's a Tuesday.
It's a Tuesday.
So, so make sure that if you haven't already, you register for that. If you don't have the link, message Audrey and I. That way when you register, you actually get the link to join, and it shows Beautycounter that you want to be there and you want to support. So always register for these calls and show your support. And then I'm really excited to hear what she has to say to all of us all together in the field.
Okay, so we have a new February enrolling brand advocate offer because we want to keep focusing on growing our field. Now, not only is having a friend do this business with you likely to make your business more fun, having people that you know, having girlfriend time, but when we look at our overall movement, what we're trying to do is change laws. To change laws, we need to have more people with more awareness on why these laws need to change. We need to have people that are bought into this idea, understand it, and will show up and actually vote or do these text to actions to get it to become something that we vote on, right? We are more likely as advocates to understand it a little bit better, right? Yes, we hope all of our customer bases, we're getting people to do the text to actions, we're having pop-ups and we're educating them, we're making them smarter consumers, but they might not remember to show up and vote when it's time to vote, right? The other reason it's really important that our advocate base grow is because when we go to any government agency, numbers of constituents matter. The amount of people that are supporting a certain idea or bill or something that we're fighting for matters. And if there's only 12 advocates in a county or a state or an area, that's not likely to get a whole lot of attention from whoever it is, right? Whether we're talking about a state law or a federal law. And so the more advocates we have, it's just a louder voice. I'm going through some big changes in my city right now. Our city is very close to being bankrupt, which news to me. I'm new here. Like, that great. What a good city to pick. And I don't know if you know me, our kids we're real into aquatic sports, and the city pool is where all of our practices are. That's where our water polo is, that's where our swimming is. And that's one of the first on the dockets to get cut. They're going to shut it down because it's not really a big money maker. It costs the city a lot. And so we're really advocating to try to keep the city open. And what we have to do, like we go to all these city meetings, we literally, they have like a chart and you put a sticker up of what do you want the city to keep versus get rid of. And I'm like thinking like, oh my God, this is so small potatoes compared to what Beautycounter has. Like, where's the text to action? Where's this? Where's this? And granted, we're trying to change like federal and entire state laws, not just a little city, but it's really brought some eye-opening things to how wonderful it is to be part of this grassroots movement in an organized fashion. You know, we know what we're doing. These are not necessarily me, the powers that be, the Lindsay Dahl and team, they are leading us in a phenomenal direction because we might be really passionate about safe products for our kids, but us standing like with like a picket sign is not going to make the ripples that being part of an organized movement does. And so when you're shying away from offering other people the opportunity, you're kind of making it like a selfish decision of like, I don't want to put myself in that awkward position. Remember, this is a movement. We are gathering our volunteer army to help really change the world. And so the advocate offers, it's an extra carrot. It makes it fun, but it's so important that we get more people to join this volunteer army of ours, you know. And it's not a volunteer army, we do get paid to do it. Like, that's crazy, right? No one is paying me to go to city hall to advocate for the pool, but for Beautycounter, like, what is this amazing opportunity that we can actually make money while making positive change, right? So the offer is when somebody signs up, if they spend $150, they get a free vitamin C serum. You guys, that's a $90 or $117 in Canada free gift. That's incredible for spending $150. So please, please, please share it. Push yourself to share this with at least one person, if not 5 or 10. Like, be excited about it. Your enthusiasm is contagious. Okay. Go, share, commit to it. And here's
Go.
you, Melissa.
Okay. New for new this month. We just talked about how important new volume is. 250 new volume by the 15th. Okay. So this is not a month-long challenge. This is front loading. We have to get it now. It is going to be the other 3 rollers of the fragrances you didn't have in holiday. So during holiday, we had Miles Away and Sunspill, which were the green and sort of like orangey colored ones. The 3 left of the 5 that are launching in March are Pacific Dreams, which is the blue one that I showed you guys. Second Skin, which is a beautiful light pink. That's my favorite scent of all time. And then Hyper Rose, which is kind of like a deep pink color. Color meaning the container, not the perfume, just to be clear. Those 3 rollers are coming out in the new for new, as well as sample packs of all 5. Now, when I say they're like sample cards, the cards are actually designed to look like the bottles. So they're really, really chic looking. It's not like when you go to the, like, I don't know, Chanel counter in Macy's and they spray like a white index card for you and they're like, here you go. These are really, really pretty. They're really, really chic, very on brand. So you're going to get 20 for each scent, plus the 3 rollers. So that's a total of, I think it was like $130 value, for free, right? All you have to do is get your 250 new volume. How are you going to get new volume? Quick reminder, new volume is brand new to Beautycounter clients. Okay. Anyone that signs up as an advocate and anyone that's a current client who upgrades to member and adds Band of Beauty to an order during that month. All 3 of those things will count as new volume for you. So get out there, share the opportunity, because that's the best way to build your business and get these. But also know that anyone who is new to Beautycounter, sharing with new people and getting people into the membership program will also count as new volume for these. Guys, you want them. So don't miss
Also,
out.
if you've been here for a while, if you have had a customer that used to be with Band of Beauty and they expired because it expires yearly, and it's been over 6 months since they've been a member, if they sign back up, that's new volume, which that has not always been the case. That's been the case for like the last year or so. I swear there's people that I'm like, oh my God, they're not like there's people that I just assume because they were Band of Beauty for like 3 years in the beginning that I have not got back on the program. And I think I'm paying attention, but so look at your client list like closely. You might have some potentially low-hanging fruit of people that they didn't realize they expired, they didn't know that you can easily like treat with their next, $120 order, $100 order or whatever, or just be like, oh my God, I realize you're not part of our loyalty program anymore. Ah, my bad. Like, let's get you back on there. So, and Allison says she's already at 200 new volume. People are jealous of
Woo!
you. But
And
I
you can
love,
do that, Audrey, by going through behind the counter and pulling your customer reports. And you'll see people that have expired, that they have like 0 product credit. You'll see that those are expired Band of Beauty members that have just expired. And then you can go through, and after 6 months, they'll show up as client, no longer as member. So go through anyone that's a client, and all of those people are eligible for that. They've been expired for longer than 6 months, and they can become Band of Beauty members and count as your new volume.
yeah, awesome. You know, it might be a handy training to do, like kind of a couple bite-sized ones of like how to pull reports,
Yeah.
because I just learned something new that like Melissa is much more organized than I am. And it was like, oh, I want to pull reports by people that have bought this or this, not this and this, and just like a couple different tweaks. I barely know how to use those tools. I'm so old school. I'm like searching each individual thing like a dumb monkey. Like if we can learn these, it makes our business so much faster. So maybe we'll do that. Would you guys like that? Would that be helpful? I won't lead it. Promise. Okay. So on that note, something that I heard when Melissa was like telling the ways to get new volume. Why not double dip? When you get a new consultant, all of their purchases that month is new volume. So like, I love how Beautycounter can kind of stack these, right? Like we can't stack discounts as a customer really, but when you're looking at the actions that they're encouraging, oftentimes they work very synergistically together. And like, so hook your client, your new advocate up with the vitamin C. That's $150 right off the bat of new volume that you've got. You're only $100 away. So kind of think of that, especially every person on this call are really busy people. So rather than, like trying to get it all individually, how can you make the most bang for your buck when it comes to your time, right? Like what's going to give you the most reward? That's a way that I see like very easy, like a focus on this, I'll get my new volume and get a new teammate. Okay. BC takes DC. I know not everybody is pushing for this hard, but I tell you what, we have a lot of people that are. They know how to get it, but so I'm going to brush over this. Like Back to Basics points is still live. So if you hit a regimen, you hit a flawless in 5, that counts. Not only are you getting points from from the PV points from the PV from it, but also you get an extra 5 points per regimen, collection, or flawless in 5. So a way that I'm working with a lot of people is really like focus on that flawless in 5, even though it seems like maybe not as great because it's a smaller volume than like the Countertime collection, right? It's a smaller PV. But if you get 6 flawless in 5s, now I'm going to forget my math. Was it like 50 points or something? Because that's about roughly $300 in PV. No, $600 in PV, and then $900 in PV. And then you get an additional, 25, 30 points from each one.
Yeah, so it's 50 points because it would be $1,000 of PV for 6 flawless and 5s, and then you get 30 Back to Basics points. So that's 50 points right there.
50 points for 6 flawless and 5s. So if you have that goal this month, like 50 points is a big chunk. You're not only going to sell 6 flawless and 5s the entire month, but like that mixed with your regular volume is pretty dang good. And I feel like a flawless in 5 sometimes is an easier sell than a full collection, right? We need makeup more, like, and this is a new year, fresh face, that sort of thing. But for people who aren't, I don't want you to tune out when we talk about DC. DC, the whole point that we're going there is to advocate just because you're not pushing as maybe you're not competing to go, it still is a really big thing to share about. Share about your friends, share how motivated you are to see people pushing to be advocates, how proud you are to know these people that are using their voice and actually going to go to Congress. Like, how cool is it that we're part of an organization that not only gives luxurious trips, but also trips that pack a punch, right? So sharing pictures from past DC, sharing pictures of advocates on the Hill. It doesn't matter if you're not standing there, you are part of that. You are part of this organization. It's part of why we're all here. So sharing that journey. And then when they are in DC, I'll come back and tell you again, like, share those screenshots, share the stories, share the things that you see with people, because it's very impactful and it kind of stops you in your tracks. Like, wait, their reward is to go work at Congress? Like, that's crazy, but it's very compelling and it's very intriguing. So share about it. Share about it. Okay. New body
Okay.
butter.
Body butter. Okay, who's excited the body butter is coming back? Guys, this is like, honestly, there we go. There's some hands. I know this sounds silly. This is like one of my favorite products because my skin, even living in the South, I feel like at winter, my skin get really, really, really dry. So especially everyone that's living in a cold environment, you should be selling the papoopy out of, I don't know where that came from, body butter. Also, it's coming back in Monoi scent, which is my favorite. So the Monoi is, let's see if I can get this right. I believe it's coconut oil soaked Tahitian flowers. Is that right? Did I get that right? I'm pretty sure that's right.
I
Sorry,
just say
everyone, my dog's
coconut
barking.
and gardenia. It's gardenia is the flowers.
Okay, then they're Tahitian gardenia flowers.
Yes.
Okay, there we go. They're fabulous is what it is. Monoi is the best scent. It literally like will immediately transport you until a tropical vacation. It's fabulous. The body butter texture is really, really luxurious. I just had someone recently get the holiday body butter and said to me, like, I had no idea. Like, I never buy this stuff for myself because I'm always like, whatever, it's like fucking lotion. It's not a big deal. And she was like, this is so different. And I was like, yeah, it is. And this formula has hyaluronic acid in it. So it's not only going to help, moisturize with all of the, butters and seed butters and all of that. It's actually using hyaluronic acid to lock in that moisture and plump. So yes, you are hydrating your skin, you are dealing with all those rough patches and things like that. And I'm sort of marketing it as a like turn your bathroom into a spa kind of thing, like that and the oil and the scrub, like, those together. And now if you look at all the new packaging together, it's so pretty. And that's really fun too. So this is launching February 6th. They said they're going to release assets and things like that for us behind the counter on the 5th. So we'll make sure those are in the team pages and in Notion for my team and things like that so that we can all have everything we need to do to share. If anyone has questions about body butter, or if you haven't tried the body butter, or you want to know any more about why it should be such a cult favorite in your own bathroom, message us and we'll get you all the info.
Yeah. Allison commented it's her go-to for KP. So
Oh, that's
KP,
right.
you
Yeah.
guys, is those bumps, like they come on the back of your arm or like the back of your leg. Yes. And they're not pimples, they're not poppable, they're not extractable. It's just those annoying bumps. And what I see often just in the skin industry is a lot of people, we want to overtreat it. They want to exfoliate, they want to put peels on it, which that sometimes helps a little bit, but what often is missing is the hydrating nourishment to help heal the skin. And that body butter, I've seen many people over the years be like, oh my gosh, this has really helped those bumps on the back of my legs. I'm like, yeah, it does. You still exfoliate sometimes, but okay, Allison's putting some really good information in the notes. You can't talk, you want to talk, you want to sell it?
Okay,
Tell us.
I have it. It's what my understanding of it is it's genetic, that there's really not a ton you can do about it, although some people have said as they've like changed their diet and cut out gluten or dairy or whatever, it's improved. But as Audrey was starting to say, like people often mistakenly treat it like acne and dry it out, which makes it worse. Your body is producing more keratin. That's why it's those bumps, and that's why it's at the base of your hair follicle. Your hair is made out of keratin. It's a protein, and so it's producing an excess amount of it, partly in an attempt, like much like acne, overproducing oils. So that's why like hydrating it, using something as thick and wonderful as our body butter helps it go away. Mine has gone so much better. Um, so that's I know it's a common thing. I know a lot of people complain about it or maybe don't talk about it because they're kind of embarrassed, but a lot of people have it. So
Yes. Thank you. That was much better than what I could say. Did you write in the comment 1 in 4 people have it? Like it's
yeah,
super common.
it's really common.
So
Yeah.
while we can't make any claims, obviously, that like anything that we have is going to like solve anything, we can say here's personal experience and whatnot. And so I'll even try to throw together some graphics on that and the new body butter and try to have those ready for the launch as well, Allison, because that's a good reminder that I always forget that's your go-to favorite. So whenever I have someone that says they have this, I message Allison and say, what do you use again? So now I can just have it ready to go.
Yeah, totally.
Oh,
Okay.
Lindsay Askew says she has it too. Well, there you go, Lindsay. Make sure you use the body butter.
Yes. I'm really excited about the Minoy scent too.
Me too.
It used to be
It was citrus for a
mimosa.
while.
Yeah, like the citrus mimosa.
Yeah.
Someone asked, do we state the launch date? I think
Yes, February 6th.
there we go. Okay, drum roll pre-sale. Everybody put this in your phone right now. Put your alarm February 25th. Sorry, 21st through the 25th is when fragrance pre-sale launches. We're getting 40% off. Okay, not 35, 40% off the fragrance as part of this limited time offer. You can get 11 clean fine fragrance SKUs at 45% off. So that's not that there's 11 cents. It's like different SKUs, right? So different sizes, like a bundle. We don't have full on images yet. That's going to come. We're going to have amazing training coming. Let's see. Also mark your calendars. So Michael McGeever and Adriana Arriga, who are so good together, I love them training together, are going to go on February 25th at 10 o'clock Pacific to give the preview, which is like training and the excitement stuff. And one thing that they do really well together, and I don't, we haven't seen this training yet either, but it's not just facts, because really selling a perfume, it's like, do I like the smell or not, right? Like they don't necessarily, it's not like diagnosing a skin concern or whatever, but they give amazing marketing information. They're going to give really great visuals of what the difference is with we've talked about this before, the Eau de Perfume versus the perfume. It's really going to stick with you. You might not ever need to use any of those facts, but to have that information shared, I thought it was fascinating just to learn about it. Like just as somebody who likes perfume was like, this is amazing. They're probably going to share about our fragrance house. So one of the things that they talked about was when choosing our fragrance house, we sorry if you've heard this before, is most of the fragrance houses denied us because of the things that the expectations we had, the sustainability we wanted, the cleanliness we wanted. They were like, that's not how we do things, because fragrance is one big loophole, right? They're like, we can put whatever shit we want in there. Like, we're going to do, like, trust us. And they're like, nope. There was no fragrance house that really like fit their bill. And Robert, I think is how you say the one that we went with, is a smaller, more boutique fragrance house, but they were really excited at the challenge because they tend to be more on the sustainable side and appreciated working with Beautycounter because we're going to help them get better, which is something that's like, we, as a B corporation, as our goal, we want to leave everybody that touches Beautycounter better, not just safety for our consumers. So when you think about our Micah documentary, think about where we source, where we create, it all has to be on the up and up. The vanilla that we get from the farm, that farmer has to be legitimate and ethical and not hurting, not taking advantage of employees, not hurting the world, right? The glass that the manufacturers that make our glass, like all of these things have to be really strong, ethical companies. So just to hear about that was really impressive, because I didn't know, like, are we just making the fragrance in our laboratory, right? Like I didn't know that we had to go with a specific fragrance house, which does make sense. They're experts, but they're adhering to our standards. And so they're going to share a lot of just really cool things like that that just kind of stick with you. So you also will have packs of scented cards like Melissa had described. You can earn them in the if with the new for new, but they'll also be included in the bundle. Melissa's holding up. Are you being my Vanna White? Or are you going to say something about the bottle? She's holding up the bottle.
Well, I was going to add on to your pre-sale when you were done talking, but go
yeah,
ahead.
go. I think I'm good.
Okay. So I was talking to some people, actually 3 different teammates today, that all said to me, I'm not excited about fragrance. I don't know why I would even buy the pre-sale bundle. So that was kind of eye-opening to me because I'm so excited about fragrance. But also, so here's my thing. With these bottles, first of all, this is a $96 value, right? They're pre-sale at $58, less than that, $57.60. Okay. So it's like, that's ridiculously less expensive during pre-sale. But here's the thing with like the roller balls and stuff, you can do like, which scent do you like on you, right? But one thing we did in in Hawaii was they gave us all the different like little pieces of paper and you sprayed it on and then everyone sort of walked around and smelled different ones and then the little coffee beans out and you sort of like reset your little, I don't know, it's not
Your
your
nose palette,
your,
I guess.
yeah, your nose palette. I don't think that's a thing. And then you tried a different one, whatever. You can't do that with the roller balls, right? And so for me, and it's, in my opinion, pretty wasteful to do that with like a bazillion little sample cards, right? So I want to have these bottles, not so much because I expect to use all 5 of these constantly for myself, right? Although I probably will too. I want to have them because I want to give my clients that experience of like that really fun girls' night event. Like I was surprised because I'm not like a huge fragrance person. Like I was surprised by how fun that was and how much excitement was in the room and everyone was really loud. And everyone was buzzing and like Adriana was still trying to talk. And we were like, you can't talk when you give us this. Like everyone was so excited and talking over her. And she was like, hey guys, can we talk? And we're like, no, we're having fun. You don't want to miss out on that excitement for your clients. And if you don't take part of this pre-sale, you're going to kick yourself later when you see other people being successful in this business and you now have to pay full price for these assets. Like I'm so impressed by the discount that we're getting this time and the way that this is going to open up our business in a whole different way. And if you were not in Hawaii, then you have not seen all the ways that they are going to set us up for success. But let me tell you, it's out of control. If anyone is not selling fragrance like a bandit when it launches, it's because you are living in a hole. So don't miss out. Okay. I mean, it's great though, right? Am I right?
It's great. It's great. And
Yeah.
it really, I mean, I'm going to not get it as great as Michael says, but talking about just it opening up a different consumer demographic. There's always going to be people that are like, like maybe they don't trust the skincare, or they're married to their brand, or do you guys have any like of your mother's age people that are like, well, it's too late for me. Like, oh, I don't need, like,
Right.
they don't care about like starting a routine right now. But perfume is something that's very personal. And a way that I kind of thought of it is like, I've had conversations with people about like, we know what our mom smells like, as like a certain perfume smells like our mother to us or our grandmother. And like, how cool is it that we have the opportunity to be somebody's like memory shifting gift, right? Like if something becomes their signature scent or the scent that they wear out, maybe every time they go out to dinner. Adriana was really talking about like, some people do have a signature scent, but now scent is very like accessorized, that they'll have their date night scent or their daytime scent. And to just think about that being like the smell. I mean, Valerie still will be like, this smells like mommy, like my pillow. Like she gets like attached to like whatever my smell is. We can be somebody's signature smell that they like remember us as part of their entire like next generation memory, which is pretty cool. But the fragrance pop-ups or perfume party or whatever, it also is a little bit, I think, less stressful, less scary. You smell you smell it, people are smelling it, they like it. I mean, what's the store we all hate? Not Bed Bath and Beyond, fucking Bath and Body Works. Like People go crazy. Smell, 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 smell. Smell is like a fun thing to do. And we've never really leaned into that because we couldn't, because it was dangerous. And so it opens up a different way of thinking. And I think a lot less intimidating than trying to diagnose somebody's skincare or trying to put makeup on somebody. Right. So this might also be an entry into like, maybe you've never had the opportunity or the bravery to say, I'm going to have an in-person event. Start with this, like a fragrance launch. This is really fun. Come on over, have green juice party, a wine night, and do the smells. It's simple but really fun and impactful. Okay. Mission, PFAS. And I wasn't expecting Danielle to be on this call, but Danielle, I might have you share a little bit too, but Melissa, take it away.
I was just typing my favorite Chanel quote about perfume, which is no elegance is possible without perfume. It's the unseen, unforgettable, ultimate accessory. It's literally my favorite quote ever from Chanel. And now we're selling it. So, okay, I'm done now. Cool. Yes, PFAS. Woo! All right. Do we even know what PFAS are? If you don't, I'm happy to have like a longer science discussion about this with anyone who wants to know a little bit more about PFAS. But essentially, from like a real quick review, PFAS are forever chemicals, and they're called that because they stay in our bodies or in the environment for a really, really long time. They're very hard to break down. We don't like pee them out like we do parabens and phthalates. We can get rid of those once they enter our body pretty quickly. Like within 48 hours, you can basically get rid of your parabens or phthalates. You cannot do that with your PFAS. They are there forever. They're linked to all the bad things, right? Cancer, reproductive toxicity, organ toxicity, particularly liver and thyroid. And they're also global pollutants that harm wildlife and our environment. So like all around the world, no bueno. So there is the No PFAS in Cosmetics Act, which is coming out now. It is being reintroduced into Congress this year. And what will this bill do? So it's going to intentionally ban adding PFAS into our personal care products. And then in addition to just banning PFAS, right, it's banning an entire class of PFAS. And this is important because often when a bill comes through and we ban something, they use something else that can be just as harmful or more harmful as a substitute. So like one that comes to mind is BPA, right? Everything you see now is BPA free. If you look at what they're actually using instead of the BPA, all of those other things are actually just as bad, if not worse, than the BPA was for you. So PFAS, this bill will ban all PFAS, all the peril and plural, blah, 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 blah. I've never say that right. Danielle will say it right. I don't do it. And it's also going to prohibit them from intentionally adding it anywhere in the supply chain. So not during production, not in the raw materials, not in the finished product, not in the packaging. So it all the way through. It's not going to be in the plastic that surrounds the product either. It's not going to be in the plastic that the product is in. This is a really big deal. And what we want to do is encourage everyone to get behind this. There's a text campaign going on right now. It's called Give 'em Lip, GIVEEMLIP. And you text that to 52886. And it takes, I swear, no more than 30 seconds. It sends you a link. You click on the link. It says, what's your name? Where are you from? You put in your town and your state. It automatically pulls up your House of Representatives and your Senate Congress members, and it will send an email. You can personalize it and add a one sentence to it, or you can just hit send and make a difference. I'm holding some like little text campaign pop-up type things, like who wants to be a part of making a change, right? And we'll talk about what PFAS are. We'll talk about why we should try to get rid of them. And then we'll talk about how we can make a difference. Everyone's going to get out their phones. We're going to text that, bada bing, bada boom. Any pop-ups I have this month, in person, I have a pop-up tonight and tomorrow in person in a boutique. I'm going to talk about this. I'm going to have a little sign. We're going to all get out our phones and text this. It's easy peasy way to show people that we can make a difference.
Yes, yes, yes. Did she miss anything, Danielle? So Danielle coming on made me think. Danielle did a really good video this week on her Instagram page, I think it was, and she invited Melissa to come on and they talked about PFAS. Danielle, I know you're in transit with picking up kids, kiddo, do you want to share what you did, or do you want me to share for you? If you can't talk, there she is.
I think I can talk. My phone's being a pain. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, my phone's being a pain. It won't let me join the video. But anyway, yeah. I got the idea because I did a conversation with a new teammate the other day, and it was really natural and really fun. So I asked Melissa to join me, and we did. It was pretty quick and easy. I was trying to do a few things to ramp sales up at the end of the month because I'm really trying to get to DC. And so we kind of made a very short structure, introduced ourselves. What are PFAS? Why are they bad? How they affect our health? How do they get into our cosmetics, and what we can do about it? So I think each thing we talked about for 3 to 4 minutes. I think we managed to do it in like 20 minutes total, which for Melissa and I is pretty incredible. And put together a couple of graphics ahead of time and messaged a couple people that we were going to be doing this, but mostly it was somewhat spontaneous, and it was really fun.
I watched for most of it, I think, and I learned stuff. Was like, oh, and just thinking, oh, that's a really great way to explain that. Oh, these both of these two are very smart. You'll learn something from them. So if you're not friends with Danielle on Instagram, you can go watch it, because I think it's on your grid, right? It's on your main page.
Yep, it is.
And I think that a benefit of this one is not hundreds of people are going to sit and watch the whole thing, right? But maybe you've changed. Maybe you've got one more person to do the text action, 10 more people. I mean, everyone that was watching was very engaged, and thank you for this information. Like, very thankful. It was eye-opening stuff. But I think sometimes it can be easier or less scary to go live with somebody. So if you're like, I want to do that, but I'm going to get tongue-tied. I don't know all the things. I can't speak about it the way Danielle can, or the way Melissa just did, right? Melissa just gave us all of like really great information kind of on the fly. Ask who is your mentor? Who is your upline? Is it me? Is it Melissa? Is it Allison? Is it Danielle? Be like, will you go live with me and do that? That's something that's like, it's not like a pop-up. It doesn't have to be this organized thing. Maybe you have some bullet points to make sure you don't ramble, but that's a way to start sharing and to start talking about it and to build that confidence. I guarantee you, both Danielle and Melissa can even more confidently now share about PFAS, share about the text action campaign, because they just had that conversation, right? So whether it's, on Instagram, or a video that you just make and send out to people, that maybe you do an email once a month to your client base, whatever it is, I think that the conversation can be a lot less intimidating with somebody than trying to take that on yourself. I mean, even I get ideas of things I want to do, but if it's just me, I'm like, oh, I'll do it tomorrow. Okay, I'll do it next week. Okay, I'm going to do that someday. But if you get on with somebody, it helps you just like nip that in the butt and go. And I was really impressed with your guys' video. I loved it. So good job. Good job.
Thank you. The other thing I want to say about it, it was 100% advocacy. We didn't talk about products. It was leaning in 100% to advocacy. So I think it allows us to show up really authentically.
Yeah.
In that, we're not just trying to sell a safer lipstick. We are trying to change the world here. Which to me feels really natural and authentic. But I followed up by sharing the video to my stories, but then if you don't want to watch the whole thing, here's the Cliff Notes version. And I used the graphics that Melissa posted in the Team Big group, just as like, here's the quick and dirty. And that reached more people as well.
Perfect. And yeah, I think sometimes we think I need to at the end say, my link's in my profile. Let me know if you want to order any safe lipstick. Exactly what Danielle said. We're not trying to sell everybody lipstick. We're trying to change the way lipstick is made. So no matter who buys lipstick from where, it's safer. And right now that's not the case. Greg puts it really well on like, we can't give everybody the problems of the world without giving them a temporary solution. We are that temporary solution right now, because there's not very many safe options, and we share the advocacy. Never saying, and I love this lipstick, or slyly putting on your lip gloss. They know you're with Beautycounter, right? It is implied that like I can help you, but the more you teach people, the more you're going to stick in your head. You want them thinking about you, thinking about that video, and sending you a message like, hey, I picked this up at Target. Is it safe? I don't know, right? And the more you do talks like that, are going to stick with people way more than a pretty lip gloss picture, right? Pretty lip gloss pictures are fun and those are part of it, but educating really, really sticks with people and changes their lives much more. Speaking of the ultimate educators and advocacy leaders, Miss Lindsay Dahl is back. Probably you've heard of Lindsay. If you have not, she was with Beautycounter, I think, for 8 years or 9 years. I mean, she's been with us for a really long time. She has about 2 decades of consumer safety advocacy. So she really comes from the advocacy side and then came into Beautycounter. She works for Ritual now, which is a vitamin company, basically being what Beautycounter is trying to be kind of what Beautycounter is as far as like being transparent, because the supplements industry, vitamins, CBD, protein shakes, anything supplements that doesn't require a subscription is incredibly unregulated, just like we are. And also kind of scary because you're straight up eating it, right? We're giving it to our kids and it's very unregulated. So Lindsay's trying to make waves in that sector, but it was very heartbreaking when she left Beautycounter to do so. Just some background insight, because we love telling stories here. When Lindsay did leave, it was like a burned bridge. She had 2 children under the age of 2, and Beautycounter is I believe, a very intense place to work, and just couldn't do it anymore. And Ritual was a easier work-life balance, I think, or a better work-life balance than Beautycounter. Something that she told me, I sat with her at dinner in Hawaii and I was like, but do you miss Beautycounter? Like, we're more fun, right? She's like, you guys are totally more fun. She's like, Beautycounter was the best job I ever had. She said, Greg teases me every time we talk, was like, we're cooler, right? Like, you like us, you're coming back. Like, they're so boring. She's like, Greg, they are so boring. That job is so boring, but I need boring in my life right now. I'll always miss Beautycounter. I need boring in my life right now because she's on such, she's got such littles and her job is really big. But when they came up with this, when Greg decided to come back, she was like, I'm bringing my cabinet back. She had to bring her people back. And Lindsay was one of the first people she reached out to. Lindsay's been thinking about this, she said, for over 6 months before she had decided how she wanted to make. She still is working at Ritual. Okay. She's not a full-time employee of Beautycounter. She is a contractor with Beautycounter for her job. She oversees the advocacy side of all of it, meaning that the expectations are going to be hers. But she's like, it's perfect because I can do my projects. I can build my team. Dr. J is amazing. And other people that work amongst them. But she's like, I don't have the 60, 80 hour a week demands. I can make my list. I can do my job when I need. She's like, I'm able to do this at a better capacity. And she also has a seat on the board, which means she's one of the advisors for Greg. The board helps to make big decisions. And so having Lindsay have a board seat is a really big win for us on the advocacy side, showing we're not going to go to be just a consumer company, just a sales company. We really are keeping advocacy at the heart and soul of our company. So her being back is a big win. And I actually think this is like a little bit better because it's more flexible for her. She's apt to stay with it way longer than if she's like, okay, I'm going to come back because you're going to pay me a whole lot and be an employee, and then go, shit, it was too much for me then, it's too much for me now, right? This is going to be able to have her have a better work-life flow, which I believe she will be with us for the long run. And she wants to be here. She's like, Audrey, I never wanted to leave Beautycounter because I was unhappy with the work. She's like, this work is she's like, my team is better. It's more exciting. I'm constantly learning and challenged. She's like, it just didn't work with my life. Which anybody that has family or has grown a family over time knows, like, those seasons change, right? So it's awesome to have her back. And along with her are some other people to just give a refresher or an introduction if you haven't heard of them. Other people that started this company with Greg. Gina Murphy. She's like the people person. She's the one that helps. She knows, like, if she meets you once, she knows you by name. She is your friend. She is your advocate. She really helps to advocate for the consultants. Her mother was really big into Tupperware, I want to say. Like, she's had a sight of the success and the growth and the female empowerment that can come with direct sales, which we all know direct sales sometimes can have a yucky stigma, right? But she's seen it from from a child's view, watching her mother gain confidence, gain an income, gain power in her home and in her community, and was always just like mesmerized and just really inspired by that. And she's had an entire career in the direct sales world. But Beautycounter is different, and Greg had her eyes on her from the beginning, so she helped build the consultant base and really is always advocating for us to make sure things are fair, to make sure execs understand from our perspective. She's like the liaison between that, and she is just she's just lovely. She's wonderful. So having her back at the same capacity, so she had retired, so she's back as a contractor, but incredibly involved. She's like Greg's right-hand lady. And then Christy Coleman, who is a celebrity makeup artist. And she was one of, if not the very first celebrity makeup artist. So doing the red carpet, big time, does, magazine, all the things, to say, wait, these like makeup ingredients are hecka toxic. I don't want to. And to publicly and loudly try to clean up her makeup bag. Like, it's not fair for the models that I'm doing their makeup on a weekly or daily basis. It's not fair for me to be exposed to this. And so she was seeking out, and this is in like the 90s, before clean beauty was a thing, or maybe early 2000s, but trying to have a clean makeup bag, which was nearly impossible. And so because she had been somewhat vocal, Greg sought her out to say, listen, I want you to come in. She's a licensed esthetician as well, but makeup's really her jam. And I want you to help me create products that work, because there were some clean products on the market, but they kind of felt like Whole Foods, that like not luxurious, not high, not Chanel quality. So Greg's like, I want you to give us the professional bar of expectation of performance for our products and help us innovate. So what a fascinating job and change for Christy. She still gets to do makeup and gets to teach us how to do these things, but really makes an impact for the industry at large that she was trying to do. But again, without a movement, just being her on her soapbox, no, I want clean makeup. But she has these expectations from her employers and for the people that pay her to do makeup, right? She's in like this kind of, she's in a pickle. So her joining Beautycounter really helped the bar be what it is, right? We really are the Whole Foods meets Chanel. We don't want to compromise your beauty or performance for safety. We don't want to compromise safety for performance. So that's what Christy brings. And who's the other person? My God, Michael McGeever. So Michael McGeever, you've heard us talk about him a little bit. He was with Beautycounter for maybe 6 years, 7 years. I think he started like my second year in. And he is a complete product business snob. Like, he will not let anything be below par, he admitted. So remember the writing on the holiday packages that look like peppermint? Like all of us were very surprised because it seemed a little off brand. It seemed like young and cutesy tootsie. He was horrified by that. Like, Michael would never approve that. He came back right after it was approved. He was like, it's done. It's never coming back. Let's get rid of it. But he has a background. He was with Sephora for a long time, and and Sephora's under the LVMH umbrella. So he was with LVMH for a long time, kind of as like a subpar of Sephora, working with capsule brands. So he launched like 17 brands, and I'm not going to remember freaking any of them, but there's some that are like really big right now. I want to say like maybe Ilia, maybe Kosas, ones that seemed a little more indie when Sephora first started carrying them, and now they're very well known. Michael was part of those capsule collections. I even want to say Drunk Elephant, but I feel like I might be wrong on that. But that vibe, right? Many that are clean leanings, many that are not. Oh, Fenty. Fenty was the last one he worked on before he came to Beautycounter. Fenty, that's freaking Rihanna's brand. It's humongous. All of my estheticians, Fenty. I'm like, the foundation, Beautycounter's foundation. No, they didn't want to talk to me because Fenty was the shit. It was so cool. So he is really brilliant when it comes to the business side of beauty, the business, the marketing, how to package it, how to sell it, price points. Our original price point of fragrance was over $100. And he was like, it has to be under. Looking at the comparison brands, Henry Rose, I feel like is our closest, like kind of like, I think Henry Rose is the safest in the high luxury, and they're like $120 a bottle or $125 a bottle. That's Michelle Pfeiffer's line. It is EWG verified. And so he's got a finger on the pulse of all things chic, elegant, what sells, what's hot. So having him back to, one, create those things for us, package those things for us, find the need and find the story, and then deliver it to us is such a win. I think that our trainers have always been good. Beautycounter's never brought in like crummy hires. They just don't always necessarily understand, coming from a beauty industry, how it relates to us, right? Because we're not a brick and mortar. It's different. So he has learned Beautycounter, has really embraced Beautycounter and loves it, and loves the challenge. And I mean, it helps him too, career-wise, right? So having those back under Greg's guidance, this is why the old people are really excited, because there was just a missing vibe, but also the behind the scenes, which we don't have access to, was clearly very different, right? And I don't think anybody that was with us before was bad. I don't think there was any bad hires, Mark included, which, like, I would rather it have been Greg. They tried their best for what they were good at, but they didn't fully understand our model. And it's unique, right? It's 100% unique, having leading with education, having an important advocacy peer, which, by the way, pillar is not a moneymaker, right? It's not really an income generating like pillar, but it's so important to our overall business. And like, the consumer is what's changing the legislation. If we didn't have amazing sales and amazing products, we wouldn't be convincing people to vote, because they'd be like, but I love my dry shampoo, but I love my whatever. But to find people to help people fall in love with clean beauty and realize it can be done well, it's all so connected. And I think many of the people that we've had in the positions before haven't fully embraced all three pillars, because they want to do what's worked for them in the past, running Drunk Elephant or running this organization. Or alternatively, they only come from the direct sales route. And so they're like, sell, recruit. And then they miss the advocacy story piece or the safety story piece, right? So having these people back at the helm at a better balanced, even Greg, she's like, the amount of therapy I've done, the amount of crying I've done, she's still a freaking force to be reckoned with, but I think she's softer. And I think because she never lost it, she was always our founder. She was around, but she lost control of it and watched it decline, has made her have a new appreciation for it, a new rejuvenated spirit for it, and a new drive to, like, it is time to kick some ass and take some names. And she's the one to get us there. So we're in incredibly good hands. I think that's all of the things. I'm losing people, dropping like flies. Impact Scholarship. Is Melissa still on the call? No, Melissa had to go. Impact Scholarship, you guys, the 1st to the 15th. This is a great way to add people to our movement, give them an incredible opportunity. Sometimes they make it, sometimes they don't, but it's not up to us to decide if they're going to do well or do poorly as far as like sales go. Offering it is an incredibly flattering gesture to believe in somebody and to be like, I think that you can qualify for this scholarship. Like, how amazing does that feel, right? So think of people in underrepresented communities that you might be able to offer the Impact Scholarship to. You can help them apply. It's very simple. Don't overcomplicate it. If you need help, reach out to myself or anyone that's done. I know Jamie has had a lot of Impact Scholarship earners. Allison's had some, Christy's had some, Sophia, Melissa. I'm sure there's more, but we can help walk you through that process, okay? They have until the 15th to apply. And then please, on a monthly basis, try to read your field notes. This is going to have a condensed version of what we just talked about. There's always a call calendar. So go into that February calendar, click that, and it'll show you the calls. So if you're a new consultant, go to the new consultant calls. Everybody please show up for that Tuesday talk with Greg, but that's where you'll find the calendar is in the field notes, okay? Plus other important information. Everything is clickable, so you can find more in-depth information on whatever the topic is. I'm sorry we're so far over time. Blah. Okay. Any questions, comments? You ready to go? Anybody asleep? Bye. Okay, I'm going to end recording. If anybody wants to talk about anything afterwards, then